Hello everyone, welcome back to the Warscope channel. Please subscribe and like my videos, so you never miss our deep breakdowns on global conflicts and military updates. Today, we have one of the most explosive and dramatic stories yet. A massive strike where Ukraine blew up a Russian military headquarters in a single, devastating attack. This is not just another strike. This is an event that may change the course of operations in the sector, disrupt command chains, and send shockwaves through the Russian military hierarchy. In this video, we are going to walk through everything what happened on the outside, what we know about the inside, how this strike performed from a tactical and strategic perspective, what safety measures were taken to avoid civilian casualties, what makes this strike unique compared to others, the cost and resources that went into it, and finally, what it means for the war going forward. Stay with me until the end, because this isn't just a news update, this is a lesson in modern warfare, and a look at how precision and intelligence are rewriting the rules of conflict. The first thing that catches everyone's attention is the footage from the exterior of the strike site. Video circulating online shows a massive plume of black smoke rising into the sky. It is not just a small column, it is a tower of destruction visible for miles around. The Russian military headquarters, which was believed to be well defended and possibly even reinforced against missile attacks, is reduced to rubble. The walls are gone, the roof collapsed, and in several angles you can see military trucks burning in the courtyard. Windows in nearby civilian buildings were shattered by the shockwave, and cars parked hundreds of meters away were thrown onto their sides. The sheer destructive power here tells us that this was not just a small drone or mortar attack, this was a long-range, precision-guided strike, likely using some of Ukraine's most advanced weaponry. The location of this HQ was supposed to be secure. Russian planners had chosen a place they thought was beyond the reach of most Ukrainian systems. But clearly, Ukraine has either moved closer with its launchers, used special munitions with extended range, or perhaps received targeting data that allowed a pinpoint hit from a standoff position. Satellite imagery taken after the strike shows a massive crater at the impact point, and secondary explosions rippling outward. Those secondary explosions are key. They suggest the building housed not only staff and communications equipment, but also ammunition or fuel depots. That is why the fire burned for hours after the initial strike, and why the entire complex is now unusable. Inside the HQ, though we have only limited photos and leaked video, the level of damage is catastrophic. Rooms that once held giant wall screens showing live feeds from the battlefield are now just twisted metal and broken wiring. Desks, computers, and maps are scattered across the floor. The roof has been completely ripped off in several sections, leaving the interior open to the sky. Ukrainian sources claim that several high-ranking officers were in a meeting at the time of the strike, and this is likely true, because the attack was timed for maximum effect. By hitting at just the right moment, Ukraine ensured not only the destruction of infrastructure, but also the elimination of critical leadership. This kind of decapitation strike is designed to create chaos, cut communication lines, and force the enemy to waste time rebuilding their command structure. From a performance perspective, this strike is a showcase of how modern warfare is fought. The missile or drone system used had to evade Russian radar, dodge air defense systems, and hit with surgical accuracy. This means we are not looking at a random lucky hit, but a carefully planned mission. Intelligence would have played a massive role. Someone had to know where the HQ was, who was inside, and when they would be most vulnerable. This could involve satellite reconnaissance, signals intelligence, or even human sources on the ground providing real-time updates. The Ukrainian military has become extremely skilled at integrating this intelligence with their strike capabilities, and the results speak for themselves. The performance is measured not just by the physical damage, but by the operational effect, and in this case, Russian forces in the area reportedly went silent for hours after the strike, unable to coordinate their units. The psychological performance of this strike is equally significant. When soldiers see their headquarters turned into a smoking crater, it sends a message that nowhere is safe. Morale takes a hit. Officers start to relocate, meetings move to more secretive or dispersed locations, and the entire chain of command becomes slower and less efficient. In modern war, speed of decision-making is everything, and this strike slows Russia down. It buys Ukraine time, and in some cases, that time can be the difference between holding a front line and losing it. Safety features are often overlooked in discussions of war, but they are crucial here. Ukraine is aware that striking military targets near civilian areas carries risks. This strike seems to have been executed at a time when civilian presence was minimal. There are no confirmed civilian casualties, which suggests careful timing and precise targeting. Some sources even report that the missile used was designed to penetrate and explode inside the building, reducing the risk of collateral damage. That shows a level of sophistication. Ukraine is not just lobbing rockets randomly. It is conducting measured operations with political and humanitarian considerations in mind. This matters because maintaining international support requires minimizing civilian harm, and strikes like this reinforce Ukraine's image as fighting a just and disciplined war. What makes this strike uniquely powerful is its symbolism. Destroying a headquarters is more than just knocking out a building, it is cutting off the brain of the enemy. Tanks and artillery can fight without a single vehicle, but an army cannot fight without command and control. This operation also shows Ukraine's continued ability to surprise Russia. Each time Russia thinks it has found a safe zone, Ukraine demonstrates that nowhere is out of reach. The strike sends a message to Russian commanders: if you gather in one place, you can be targeted. It forces them to constantly move, which makes planning harder and slows decision-making. That is the unique selling point here, not just the destruction, but the disruption. Another unique factor is the way Ukraine integrates Western technology and its own innovations. Some analysts believe that systems like Storm Shadow or ATACMS were used here, while others suggest Ukraine's domestically produced missiles or long-range drones may have done the job. If it was indeed a domestic system that sends an even stronger message, it means Ukraine can keep producing weapons and striking deep without depending entirely on foreign deliveries. Either way, this strike highlights Ukraine's growing technological edge and its ability to use that technology to maximum effect. Let's talk about cost. On paper, a missile like Storm Shadow can cost over $1 million each, and ATACMS can be even more expensive. But cost has to be weighed against value. The HQ destroyed likely contained millions of dollars of equipment, not to mention critical data, communication nodes, and trained officers who cannot be replaced quickly. From a military economic standpoint, this is a very efficient trade. Spending one missile to wipe out an entire command post is like trading a pawn to capture a queen in chess. You may spend resources, but the payoff is massive. Moreover, the political cost to Russia is huge. Images of their HQ in ruins spread across social media, demoralize their supporters, and embolden Ukraine's allies to keep sending aid. The strategic cost to Russia goes beyond money. It has to spend weeks rebuilding command centers, rerouting communication lines, and reassigning officers. During that time, their offensive operations slow down, and Ukraine gains breathing space. This kind of delay is priceless in a war where momentum can shift quickly. Ukraine's ability to impose cost on Russia, not just economically but operationally, is one of the reasons its strategy has remained effective despite being outnumbered. In conclusion, this massive strike is a turning point in the war, or at least a major chapter in its ongoing story. It shows Ukraine's ability to reach deep, strike hard, and cause strategic-level disruption. The exterior devastation is a reminder of the power of precision weapons. The interior destruction tells us that no level of fortification can fully protect a target when intelligence and timing are perfect. The performance of the strike was flawless, avoiding defenses and hitting at exactly the right moment. The safety measures ensured minimal civilian harm, maintaining Ukraine's moral and political high ground. The unique selling points from the psychological impact to the disruption of enemy planning are enormous. And the cost, while high in terms of equipment, is far outweighed by the benefit of throwing an entire sector of Russian operations into chaos. As we look ahead, this strike may force Russia to rethink how it positions its headquarters, how it defends them, and how it manages command and control in a contested environment. It also shows the world that Ukraine remains capable, resourceful, and determined to keep fighting smart, not just hard. This is modern warfare in action, a mix of technology, intelligence, and precision that turns the tide without needing massive numbers of troops. Make sure to subscribe to Warscope, like this video, and share it with others who want to understand how these strikes shape the battlefield. The war is not over, and each of these operations writes the next chapter. We will continue to watch, analyze, and bring you the truth behind the headlines. Stay tuned for more updates and detailed breakdowns, and as always, thank you for watching.